Good evening and welcome to the Successful Salon Team Training Room. You're here with Jennifer Louise. I am your mentor for this evening and in fact for the entire year. And with me, I have Damon Lau, one of my dear friends, another fellow 365 coach and salon owner, who is the absolute king of the highlighter pen. That's all and actually has a real knack of getting people to understand things. So I first found this in Damon when I was first going through 365 as a delegate, and I didn't quite get some things, and Damon would always like spend some time with me and go through it and highlight stuff and make things come out at me so that I understood them. And he really shows how to do this in his team meetings. Now, I know you guys struggle with team meetings, how to structure them, how to develop them, when to hold them. There's all sorts of questions that come in at me. So I'm going to get Damon to walk through how he does his team meetings because they are amazing. So welcome, Damon.
Thanks very much, everybody.
Have you had a good day? You've been in the
Yeah,
sun?
it's been good. Weather's been good and a little bit prepped for tonight, but yeah, all good, ready to go.
We FaceTimed each other earlier when he was showing me through all his presentation. You guys, he has spent so much time and energy on getting this right for you. So you are in for a treat this evening. So Damon, first of all, just tell us a little bit about you, who you are, where you've come from and what you do.
Okay, so I've been hairdressing over 35 years. Started off in a salon and buzzed through my training very quickly, which was great. Moved on to 2 other salons, managed to manage those, which was great. And then teamed up with an old good friend of mine, and we grew into a big hairdressing chain called Impressions in Kent in the southeast. We had a training academy, and then I moved on from that and then opened up my own brand of hairdressers, which is where I am now. We've been here for 25 years. We've done loads of things. We opened up an online retail shop about 12 years ago. Had a good run with that, but then the competition got too much. Made some of our own products, done a few different things, but now just refocusing back on the salon. And I'm lucky enough to be a coach with 365. I've been a member of 365 for about 34 years. I've been on the coaching team for about 10.
Amazing. I never knew until today that you had your own product range. It was men's waxes, wasn't it?
Yeah, we had three. One was called Lau Mud, Clay, and Paste.
I love that. Find out new about people all the time, don't you? It's amazing.
Yeah.
So, Damon, let's talk about why team meetings are so important, first of all, because a lot of salon owners just kind of don't do them because they're hassle and they don't know how to do them and they don't really see the importance. So why would you say that a team meeting is super important?
Okay, I feel that team meetings get the team together. It's really, really important, and especially at the moment. So we're in this really uncharted water that we really don't know what's going on. And we were in a meeting just a few moments ago where we've got teams are split, and I'm sure other salon owners that we're going to be viewing your video presentation here in the same kind of thing, where we've got people that don't actually meet anymore, but there's stuff that goes on all the time that they need to know as a team, as a business, and what's happening in the industry. So I feel like if you can manage your team meetings effectively, properly, and actually get the information across to your people on a regular basis, it makes all the difference. So I've got what I've discussed with Jen earlier. I split our team meetings into 6 segments to make it really, really simple. And that's what I was going to walk you through this evening.
Yeah, excellent. And before you do that, one of the questions that I get asked a lot on my Instagram channel is how to decide what you're doing and how you structure them. I don't know how you do it. I tend to plan all of mine in January. And the reason behind that is so that I know exactly what's being coached when. I know that everything's being covered. It's planned for the entire year. I know who's going to be here and who's not going to be here if they're on holiday or whatever they're going to be doing. My team know, because some of my team deliver the team training also. So they know when they're going to be delivering things so they can make sure that they're prepped and ready. So is that something that you do, or do you batch create them? How do you go about strategizing your team meetings?
Okay, I would definitely plan ahead as you do. I think it's absolutely vital. But in saying that, if we all planned ahead what was going to happen in the last 6 months, it'd be completely out the window. So I think it's important maybe to currently to break it down into smaller bite-sized blocks so we can go with that as we go forward there. But planning ahead is absolutely vital. Some of the things I'm going to go through, it's going to involve the rest of the team. So that is going to be involved planning them. And I think it's about teaching them to present and actually be a part of the meeting. I think quite often team meetings are something that are not enjoyed by a lot of people because I think they're just going to get told off. And we've got to turn that around and make sure that meetings are fun, that they get involved with them. And actually it's about praising and uplifting them, and all of their suggestions are absolutely paramount to a part of the business. So a team meeting is about the team participating and adding to the business and changing it. If it's just you standing at the top, waving your finger saying we're going to do this or whatever, then that's when people lose interest. And I think that the way that we present them now makes a massive difference, like we're doing now with videos and many other media. So it's really important.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's dive into how you structure your team meetings.
Okay. So we're in my salon at the moment. It's a bit dark in here because when I've got the lights on, it's so illuminated you can't see anything on the screen. So you've just got the backlit of the mirrors there. So when I'm coaching normally, the way that I absorb things is visually. Many people you want to feel it, you might be kinesthetic, you might want to hear it, you might be auditable, or you might want to see it and be visual. There's all different ways that you do things. But personally, I'm using my hands now. I'm very moving around all the time, and I think I've got to feel what's going on. So I use a flip chart all the time. Everyone takes a mickey out of it, but it's actually how I remember as well, because it makes me kind of remember things. I have a key word, then I'm off, and I'll go off one for ages. So when I was discussing with Jen about how to share some of my knowledge, I had to just write it down again, and that's why we're here. So without further ado, I'm on a trolley at the moment, moving my laptop around. I hope you guys can read it. Okay, so I feel that there's 6 main meetings that you can break down and plan ahead for 6 weeks, as we were just talking about, in smaller bite-sized chunks. And I'm making this relative to what we got at the moment. So the first type of meeting I would call a status update, and I'm going to break these down on each mirror as I go around the salon. The next one is information sharing. After that, I'm talking about innovation meetings. Then we've got problem-solving meetings, decision-making meetings, and then finally, team-building meetings.
What's your favourite one?
Team building. It's got to be team building, because when you've done all the hard work, you can have a bit of fun and play a little bit. And that's really, really important. I think that, like I said, you don't want people just to think a team meeting is about being told off or being disciplined or something that's boring. It should be really, really fun. And if you create a team building meeting and incorporate that within your schedule, then they've actually got that to look forward to, and it gives them a bit of a goal as well. And I think goal setting obviously is really, really important. So that's just the first kind of like mini set of that. But if I may, can I go further to the next one? Right, I'm moving my mobile trolley. Okay.
So cool, because actually in the meeting that we've just come out of, we were discussing one of the salon owners in that meeting said that her team hates Zoom. Well, I'm sure they wouldn't hate a team meeting that was delivered like this. You know, that you're injecting fun, you're moving things, there's colour. I think, you know, it's the way, if we're just sat there boringly talking into a camera, the team are going to switch off. And I think even on Zoom, the way that you're delivering this is just brilliant. It's genius.
Well, you just got to change things up a little bit, which I've written down there. And the reason for any meeting or gathering of your teams is motivation. And I'm sure you guys have seen this all before. It's just the way that I'm packaging it. Motivation, if you break that word down, it says motive for action. You've got to have a motive and you've got to action it to create motivation. And that's what we're doing a team meeting for. It's not just for us. I don't do a meeting to hear my own voice. I do it to try and motivate the team, to get them involved so they can be a part of the business, to grow, move forward and reach their own personal goals. But to do that, they've obviously got to change. And change is what I've written in there in big letters there. And change can be broken down into 3 different areas. And Ken from 365 always says that there's no change equals no change. If you carry on doing what you're doing, you'll carry on getting what you're getting. It's so many different ways of repackaging it, but it's really, really important. So how do you create change to get motivation? The first thing is it's what you focus on. Okay, what you focus on is absolutely paramount. So whether it's you're trying to increase your average bill to get a higher client spend when they come in, whatever it is, just as an example. Then this one, it says here, the words that you use. This, you always implement this one, because Lisa, my wife, always says, it's not what you say, it's the way that you say it. And I'm very guilty of that. Sometimes when I'm in the zone or maybe a little bit angry or whatever, I can say things that come out a little bit wrong. And I have to kind of take a step back and then refocus and then make sure I say it the right way. And we all know that sometimes the mood that you're in or the way that you're feeling when you come into work in the morning can then leak out to the rest of your team. The same as what their mood is if they've had an argument with their partner or their boyfriend or the husband or their wife or the kids or something like that. So it's really important with the words that you say and the way that you say it. But finally, and for me, the most important one is your physiology. So physiology is the way that you're standing, the way that you're presenting yourself, what you're saying and how you're breathing, first of all, when you're presenting something. If I was to sit there and just kind of talk to you like this and, you know, just look a bit bored and fed up like that, you'd soon look the other way and you wouldn't even be paying any attention. Yeah. But if I'm raising my voice, standing in front of you, trying to get you excited, moving my hands so you can see everything that's going on, you can't think, what is this idiot doing? I'm going to have to listen to him to find out what's going on. So your physiology changes everything, absolutely everything. The reason why I've written all this stuff in color is because it just makes it a little bit more interesting. Yeah. I could write it all back in black and list it all down, but it'd be boring as hell. Yeah. So this is how I do things when I'm coaching other groups of people, because it's how it works for me. But obviously, I know that not everybody works exactly the same way. But this is how it works for me. So if it works for me, that's how it excites me. That's how I can teach someone else. And this is what we have to teach our people, because if we're getting our teams to involve within our team meeting, we have to find something that they get excited about and then get them to share that. Then that builds up their confidence, because if they feel fantastic about what they're talking about, so they've got a product, there's no point getting a member of your staff to talk about a product they never use, first of all, to present it to everybody else, because they're not going to feel it, they're not going to have the passion, they're not going to enjoy it, they're not going to give you any experiences that they've had with that product, for example. But if you do it with something that they really love, then they're going to be energized by it. Their physiology is going to be different and it's going to leak out to everybody else. Yeah. So physiology is absolutely important, okay? We've got a lot to cover, so I better just carry on. Here we go. Can you see that one? This one.
Tour of Damon's salon here.
Yeah, I've got these. This is great. This is a mini whiteboard. So you can buy this off the internet. It just sticks to your mirrors. It's great. So I use
notes.
Yeah. So great. So the first meeting is called a status update. At the moment, like today, 11 o'clock, we all found out different things that were going on in the country, and I think it's really important for our teams. They come to you as a salon owner or a manager to find out exactly what's going on at the moment. They don't want to watch the news at 10 o'clock at night. They just want the cream. They wanted to know the bits and pieces. So it's our responsibility to make sure that they've got a status update. And this type of meeting can be very quick. It can be communicated via your WhatsApp group or text message, or just a short, punchy one. It doesn't have to be a long-winded meeting, but so they know. So I've written down here on the status update meeting, latest world news that's going on, how it's affecting the economy, what's going on. I've got the COVID-19, obviously the latest things, NHBF guidelines, which is affected by all of these things because we get them passed down to us. Government guidelines, which is obviously connected to the NHBF. But also it's all about here, I've written there, and I've drawn a little line right the way through, aligning split teams, because if we have got these teams that work in different shifts, it's important for everyone to be aware of what's happening within your team. So whether you're writing something down, texting it to them, videoing it, creating some kind of like recording and then sending it off to them so they know what's going on, because you want everyone singing from the same song sheet. They want everyone to know what's happening. There's no point you doing a promotion or changing something in the salon. Like at the moment, we're wearing visors, and I've started getting a load of goggles in for people because you can wear these now, right? I'm sure everyone's doing that, but I've just got some today. They've been delivered. So not everyone's in at the same time, but I'm going to communicate to the team so everyone knows that they can now wear these if they want to. I've got them there ready to go, and it's up to you to kind of just share that. So you have to manage your teams and let everyone know, even though they're not even going to see each other sometimes because they're on a different shift. So status update, quick punchy meetings, just quickly what's going on. Okay?
Yeah.
Next one. Are we all right?
We're still on through. Love it.
Still on track.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, okay, here we go. The next one, sharing information. I don't know if you can see that, hopefully. Okay, information sharing. So this could be, I've got their product or service launch that you could be doing, technical training. Everyone needs to understand what's going on within the salon. Sharing an education course. If someone goes on a course in my team, I'd make it a part of them going on the course. They have to come back and present it to the rest of the team. You know, the price of one person going on a course is then divided by however number of team you've got there, because it's going to be shared with them. I always get them to get as much information as they can, multiple printouts, videos of anything, so we can share it within the team. And then when they've learned something and they understand it and they've had a go at curling someone's hair or a new coloring technique, they come back and they're quite passionate about it. They're excited about it. And then that leaks out to everybody else. But what's really important now is the other forms that we can use of sharing information. So let me just move that down again, make sure I've got it all in. So how do we do it? So paper handouts, old school, videos now, making videos of yourself and your team, creating new technical work or whatever it could be. Instagram, Jen is the master of that. YouTube videos, TED Talks, if you want motivation. If anyone hasn't even dabbled into that, they're absolutely amazing. Facebook, WhatsApp, all of these things are put in there, making shared information much more memorable. If you do something visually, like I'm trying to do here, you're probably going to remember it a bit more.
Yeah.
When a product is launched, all of your big brands out there are going to show you something, a video that goes along with that now. They do, and they spend a lot of money on it. There's no need for you to reinvent the wheel. You can use their videos. GHD have just launched the Rise. They've got some great videos on that kind of thing. Send that to your team. But make sure, as an owner and a manager, that every product that you use, every brand that you use, that you sign up to get all of the updates sent to you first of all, because you are the responsible person, which then gives you more information to load up ready for your meetings that you're planning ahead that you can demonstrate to your team. So use all the visual aids that you possibly can. So that's the information sharing, okay?
Love that.
Next one. My pen was changing here, so I hope you can read that. Right, let's get that a bit nearer. Right. Innovation meetings. Innovation, what does that mean? That means creating something and thinking differently. Creative meetings and thinking outside the box. Brainstorming sessions. No idea is ever wrong. This is really, really important, this point here. I'm just going to read it all, then I'm going to go back to it. Collectively evaluate any problems and always challenge yourselves. What we tend to do is when we're trying to think of something differently, you need to challenge yourself, because if you don't, it's just you're ending up with the same answer. We said earlier, no change equals no change. A way to explain this is the person who come up with a mobile telephone, first of all, it's a great product and it was working really, really well, but then they wanted to try and pimp it up a little bit, do something different. They said, what else can we do? And actually now probably the last thing we actually do in it, or the least amount of time we spend on the telephone, is actually talking, because it's our internet, it's our emails, it's our social media, it's our way to communicate with everyone across the world. Now we can talk to someone visually on a little thing that's in the palm of our hands, is in a completely different time zone. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. So this all started with someone's idea. And sometimes you just got to think outside the box. So if we're stuck with a problem in our salons, it could be a challenge with the clients, or it could be an education thing with someone within the team. It could be anything, but we need to sometimes just take ourselves away from it, step away from the problem at hand, but just even write it down and then start thinking about it and getting everyone to participate with what's going on. But what's really, really important, what I've written here in red here, is that no idea is ever wrong. So some people think they're going to say something, or they might not say something because they're really scared about sharing it within the team because they think it sounds stupid. Well, you've got to really make sure that no one ever feels stupid in your teams. It doesn't matter what they say, even if it's been repeated earlier on in the meeting, because every person is really, really important. So whether it's the owner, the manager, the person that's just joined you, the new student, or someone who's there on a Saturday staff, you know, they might be in a team meeting. It's really, really important, because if it's not everyone participating in the team, it's not a team meeting. So that's really, really important. And sometimes we don't always think outside the box.
Yeah.
Okay. We're nearly there now. After thinking outside the box, we've got to then go on to problem solving. So if you're going to solve a problem in the salon, which is developing what I just said earlier, we have to focus on it, which again, I said earlier. So a lot of these things are repeating, but I'm just trying to break them down into smaller chunks, creating strategies. And when you're doing that, you make sure you've got to get somewhere in the right direction. So I've got a compass on there. If you're not pointing in the right direction, then how can you create a strategy? So you've got to navigate yourself for the future. So look forward, look about where we're going to be in a few months' time. I was talking to Jen earlier on. We were talking about, well, you were planning not the next 2 periods, the 3rd period, and what's going to happen then. If you're not 3 periods ahead of yourself, then where are you? You know, because what you're in now should have been done 2 months ago. So we have to predict as much as we possibly can in these strange times what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And one way of doing that is that you can just see there, it says a SWOT analysis. And I know a lot of you guys have seen this before. Some of you may not have. And this is a great tool for using with people. So what is a SWOT analysis? This is a bit of paper. Get an A4 bit of paper, draw across through the middle. In one top left-hand corner, I write the word strengths. In the top right-hand corner, I write the word weaknesses. The bottom left, opportunities. And the bottom right, threats. So with a SWOT analysis, what this helps you to do is to analyze whatever a problem is that you want to focus on. And let's say bring this back to a team meeting and how you get everyone involved. Get everyone to get a piece of paper, do exactly that. Write down, it could be, let's talk about training, education. Get them to analyze their own hairdressing skills. So if I'm going to write down here what are my strengths or my weaknesses, or say problem solving. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead a bit now. I'm thinking further. I want to increase my average bill. So what are the strengths that I've got there in my personal hairdressing? My hairdressing strengths are that I think that I'm confident with cutting and styling and teaching home care and stuff like that. Weaknesses is actually my technical work is okay, but it's not really, really strong. Everyone wants balayage at the moment, but I'm great with highlights, but I'm not really good with the balayage technique. So that's a weakness. So what can I do about that? So let's look down at the opportunities. The opportunities are one of the other team one of the other guys in the team is fantastic at balayage, really good at actually communicating that with their clients and telling them how to do that. So I'm going to get them to help me out. Or alternatively, the threats are I'm going to miss out on this opportunity. I'm not going to get those balayage clients that everyone wants at the moment. And they want them at the moment because that kind of colouring process takes longer and longer in between gaps, and people are trying to save money. So I'm going to miss out on that. Yeah. But with the SWOT analysis, if you did that within your teams, get people to write down, example, that topic there, screw it up in a ball, throw it into the middle of the room, and then get everyone to pick it up. They're not going to pick up their own ball. If they do, they've got to put it back down again, but then they pick up someone else's. And I forgot to say to write their name at the top of that SWOT analysis. Then they find the other person in the room that's written that down and get the other person to then help them with finding their strengths, their weaknesses, their opportunities, and their threats, and get them to discuss that. Because sometimes you just can't see the wood for the trees when you're analysing yourself.
Yeah.
So if you get someone else to do that, then it's much easier to kind of like work with that. So I feel that the SWOT analysis is fantastic. It's a great tool that you get people to do. And also they've actually got to get off their backsides, literally stand up. So they're changing their physiology again, going back to that. And it helps them to really work on their own weaknesses and then turn those into a strength. So the idea is kind of creating the opposite of what's on that graph there.
Yeah, I used to really struggle with SWOT analysis. Like I just didn't get it.
Right.
I really, really struggled. And I found, I don't know whether you guys, that's why my eyes were down a second ago.
Oh, yeah, I've seen this, Jen. You've sent this to me. This is great.
Yeah. So for those of you that are watching live right now, there's a SWOT analysis. It's on Pinterest. And it's purple sheet, and it goes through what strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats are. And I really did never know what to put in those boxes, apart from the I'm good at this and I'm bad at that, and then I could get better at what I'm bad at. And the threat is that I become complacent with what I'm good at. And it was the same outcome every time. And this on Pinterest, this exact one. And for those of you that are listening in on the podcast, It's literally go onto Pinterest and type in SWOT analysis. It's a purple background, and then it's got the SWOT box is the strength box is purple, the weaknesses is red, the opportunities is green, and the threats is blue. And it talks you through what type of things, like for instance, weaknesses, cash flow, community, effects on core activities, like things that would never have come into my mind. Now, my SWOT analysis, because of this little treasure that I found in Pinterest, are really detailed, and I get so much more out of them. So little hack there, if you're a SWOTer like I was.
Well, again, it's using social media. You'll get that off of Pinterest that you can then share with your team to explain it. So all these things weren't always there before. Before we just had a bit of paper and we're just talking to people about that, but you've really just got to do a little bit of research. You can find so much stuff out there. It's amazing.
Absolutely.
Okay, we're nearly there, guys. Hope you're still with me. This one, decision making. So you've done your SWOT analysis. You've tried to sort of tackle some issues that are going on in the salon as a team. You've stood up. You've shared different things within the team. And now we're going to do some decision making, because after you've analysed any problems that are going on within your meetings with everybody else, what's really important is gathering that information. And what I must say is, after you've done a SWOT analysis, you can't come up with a solution that meeting. It doesn't work like that.
No.
You have to take it away. You have to process it. Maybe get a little bit more feedback. It may be that not everyone was in that particular meeting. So that's why you've got to come back to it and write down everything. That's what I tend to do. Look at all the pros and cons, or the do's and the don'ts, and then try and come up with a solution, which is sometimes some guys might have some really great suggestions, but it's just not financially viable. So you've got to bring it back to reality and then go through what it's all about. But then the next follow-up meeting is decision making. So I've got a big tick there. So you choose the process that you've decided on as a team. What best matches the process that you're trying to sort of hit the target of. Use the results that are gathered. Evaluation on facts. So use everything that everyone's given to you, from the Saturday girl to the receptionist to the manager to yourself. Then when you've decided on something, as an owner or a manager, you have to create the plan of action. And that's about coaching and committing. So you have to coach the people exactly what to do. And we actually do this all the time, but we don't write it down on a bit of paper or know the structure of it. Because when we come up with a new idea, say, well, I've got this great idea, I've worked out how to do it, this is what we're going to do, and I want you to do that. But now we're going to kind of do it to a little bit more of a structure. And that's the decision-making meeting. So what's happening is, from one meeting to another, it goes from an idea, from sharing it to everybody else, to you developing what they have actually said, and then actually making a decision and saying, because you've said this, this is how we're now going to do it. And then they own it, because they've actually become a part of that meeting. And then once they own it, they're going to deliver it, which is fantastic. And finally, the essential team meeting, team building meeting. This is my very sketchy picture of buildings, because this is the best kind of meeting that I like, because once you've done all the hard work, you want to have a little bit of fun, right? So strengthening relationships, have different themes. Let's do some outings. I know it's difficult at the moment, obviously. Change the location of your team meeting whenever you do it. That's good. A lot of people go out for a coffee, or go to McDonald's for breakfast, or do something different, go to a park. And I know now we're looking at Zoom meetings or team meetings on Teams to do that, but do something a bit more fun, and actually do something that's absolutely nothing to do with hairdressing. Yeah. So after you've every now and again schedule within your meetings, like we said, when you're planning ahead a meeting, you can either tell them exactly what you're going to do, or don't tell them at all. Just make it more of a surprise. So when they do come to that meeting, they go, I wonder what's going to go on. It creates a little bit of excitement. It's great fun. I mean, we do loads of different things here. We have parties. We've had pop-up restaurants in here, and just random things in here. But I think that it's really, really good to change your meeting up a little bit and make sure that when they're having a meeting, it's not always about bad news. It's about great news, and it's good fun. And it's so important that everyone who says something has a participating effect on what actually happens at the end of the day.
Damon's great at doing these team building meetings. I'm actually in fact, I think I'm not in your WhatsApp group anymore, but I was in Damon's WhatsApp group for a while, because I did some training with them. So I jumped in their WhatsApp group to guide them through some things. And one night I remember sitting there really, really annoyed, like so annoyed. They were all having this amazing party, and they were all cooking food in the salon. They had these pop-up like griddles, and they were all drinking wine and loads of music going. And I was like, I'm at home on my own. Where was my invite?
It's too far, Jen. You couldn't drink and drive, could you?
Exactly. I could have had a hotel room, Damon.
Oh yeah, okay.
Damn it. And Damon's even got a bar. He has a Lau bar.
Oh, yeah, we've got a bar there.
So he definitely knows how to do a good team building meeting.
Yeah.
Bless him.
Well, in a nutshell, if I can just say then, so what I would suggest is then, if you're struggling with your team meetings, just a few like basic pointers. I'm going to run you right back to the front again.
I love this.
Because you'll remember it, Betty, see? Because you're bloody running around with his laptop on his trolley. Okay, status update. So keep everyone informed of what's going on. It's your responsibility as a salon owner or manager to do that. And then plan the information that you want to deliver, whether it's product knowledge, just, I don't know, education that you're doing, and think about how you're going to do that and the different sorts of media that you've got to do that. And then if you're thinking about something different or that you're trying to tackle, trying to get new customers into the salon, think outside the box with innovation meetings where everybody's participation is really, really important. Then with that information, you've got to look at some problem solving. If you're problem solving, one of the best ways to do that is using a SWOT analysis. After you've used the SWOT analysis and you've taken that away and processed that, you then can make some final decisions that are educated guesses to the best of your knowledge and to the best of your financial ability. And then not forgetting, after all, that everyone needs to let their hair down and have a team building meeting afterwards, which has got nothing to do with your given trade of hairdressing. So I thought that this is like just the basics of what you can do. But I think it's really important that everybody does participate. And like I say, if you can get some of your students to present some of these things with passion because of their physiology and they're excited about it, then imagine the confidence they do when they're talking to each other in front of you guys. And then when they kind of express that a little bit more, that goes on to their clients. Then if one person does it, it's going to leak on to the next person and then the next person. And then it's just going to make a much better atmosphere in the salon rather than someone just sitting there. And the physiology is exactly the same when you're working. If you're working with a hairdresser who's very expressive and animated, you watch them. I love watching some of the people. Yeah. They're amazing. And then get someone else who might not be feeling like that. But if everybody's doing it, it just leaks out to everybody else. So give it a go. That's what I would say.
Absolutely. A few little tips that I've got from team training. If you're struggling with your voice being the only one that is heard, buddy up with a salon that's local to you or another salon owner that you know. Like I've gone and done team training in so many different salons, and I've had other salon owners come into my salon and take my team and train them on their superpower inside of their business. You know, if you know other hairdressers in other salons, ask the salon owner if you can borrow them. You know, obviously if they're not competition, just utilize the people that are around you and swap your superpower for someone else's superpower so that you can all learn and grow. And the other thing is you really need to change the state of people before they can learn. So one of the things that I really like to use is music, having that fast pumping music when they're coming into the meeting, using music whilst if they're going off to do some thinking and some writing, using music in between that and really changing the state. If it's something that I really, really need these guys, if it's like a heavy meeting loaded of information and I need the guys to really fully focus, then I'll get them up, make them dance, get their heads empty before we start the meeting so that they really, really drill down and listen to exactly what information's coming at them. Yeah. So anything you want to add there, Damon?
No, what you've just said there just reminded me, many years ago, I did a 4-day course with Anthony Robbins. Well, not me personally, me and about 12,000 other people in the room. But music was absolutely vital. I don't know if anyone's done that, but talk about changing your mood. They literally uplifted the whole room. There's one guy on stage for 4 days from 9 o'clock in the morning till midnight. And he is an amazing speaker. So if you see any of his TED Talks, I spoke about that earlier, or anything else on YouTube, fantastic motivational speaker. But the music and the tempo was absolutely vital. And he actually brought you really, really down, really, really low and taught you at the flick of a switch how to pump that back up again with changing the music and your physiology, which is what I was talking about earlier. So if you want to expand on that a little bit, look up physiology and how to change your own physiology, and it is massive. And if you do that yourself, like Jen was saying, before a meeting, and I know that Jen, you've shared with us before you do a live or before you go coaching, you just give yourself a few minutes and you just get into the zone and things like that, and it makes a massive difference. So, you know, control yourself, focus yourself before you present to someone else, and it makes a massive difference.
Yeah, absolutely. One quick question before you disappear. Damon, where did you get those fab sheets for the mirrors? Love them.
Right, I got them from my local Ryman's. I'm going to find the box. Hang on a minute.
Damon, anything you ever need, Damon knows where to get it. He is like
It's called the Magic Whiteboard Box.
Love it.
5 A1 sheets. Actually, they're bigger than these mirrors. So for me to get them in the mirrors, I had to cut them a bit shorter. But they're perfect. They're great. They stick on. But just to show you, you can use them again.
I love that.
Marker. So, yeah. So you only need to get one box, and you can just keep using them. They're brilliant.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
They're called Magic Whiteboards.
Well, their sales will go through the roof. Maybe you should get an affiliate link with them quickly in the group. Damon, thank you so much for spending the evening with us. I truly appreciate your time and the energy that you not only brought to us this evening, but that you've spent in putting into having this meeting with us and showing us how to rise up and be a successful salon owner, delivering successful team meetings. So thank you from the bottom of my heart and everyone else. Guys, I am changing the structure of these meetings slightly. I deliver into the group on Mondays and Fridays. I'm finding that Fridays, a lot of people are still at work and you're missing vital content. I know lots of you watch back on replay, but I'm going to try delivering them on Mondays and Wednesdays for a few weeks and see if that works better for you all. So do join me on Wednesday evening for the next session of this week. And I will catch you there. So lots of love. Take care. I hope you're all smashing business life right now. Damon, thank you once again for your time.
Thank you very much.
Lots of love, everybody.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.